New Chanel, mama and Gucci, got out the hoop, yeah. Been through hell, carry the life is a movie, yeah. We prevail, now we do the groupies, don't do the groupies, yeah. Got money for bail, don't act like you know me, knock off your koofy, yeah. Flooded the rollie with Ethan, Hellcat Katrina the Beamer, blowing the money like Freeman. I got a flex in the sleepers, they tryna do me like Caesar. You gotta watch for the creepers, I got the eye in the steam.
Hey, welcome to another episode. Today, I have Oregon University standout, first round draft pick to the Indiana Pacers. He also was an NBA slam dunk winner in 2004. Fred Jones. How you doing, Fred?
Well, what's up, man? How you? How you been?
All right, man. I'm doing good, man. Always good to see my brother. Spent a lot of time with you when you was with the Pacers, man. It was the good old days.
Oh yeah. You know, a lot of pounds ago.
We ain't gonna go there, man. So, Fred, where you from?
Born in Arkansas, raised in Portland, Oregon. My family moved to Portland when I was about 10. You know, and Portland has been home, you know, since, but was born in Arkansas.
Okay. How was you raised? What was your household like? I know your mom; she's a sweet lady. But what was home like for you?
Hey, you know, I have no complaints. You know, I was very blessed. 2-parent household. My parents were married over 40 years, still to this day. You know, we strong black family. Grew up in the church. You know, they two good parents. You know, two strong-minded. You know, and supportive. Yeah.
Right. What sports did you play coming up, man?
I did a little bit of everything. So most, you know, the major three: football, baseball, basketball. So up until 8th grade, you know, every one of those sports seasons was one of them. So I was, you know, football season, baseball season, basketball season. It was just whatever came at that time.
All right. So, did you specialize early in basketball, or did you play those 3 sports or 2 sports in high school? What was that? How was that?
So I once I got to high school, I just then concentrated on basketball. Really, because I started playing more and more basketball, and I had to go across town to get training and all of that. So it just didn't leave me the time that I needed to play the other sports. I tell my kids now, you know, I don't even know if I would do that again, because football is my favorite sport, and I wish that I would have, you know, took that opportunity to play in high school. Yeah.
Right. So throughout high school, man, how did that go? You know, was you at a big school? Did you play right away? Did you have to pay your dues? What was that like?
Yeah. So yeah, I was at a 5A school, you know, right in the suburb of Portland. You know, really good school. You know, good athletics. Now, as a freshman, shoot, I played on the freshman team, the JV team, and the varsity team. So you got to play 5 quarters a night. So I was.
What was you playing? 2 quarters for each one? Is it 2, 1?
Man, so I started off. I would play 2 quarters in the freshman, a couple quarters in, you know, and then a quarter of JV, then 2 quarters for varsity. And so by the, you know, halfway through the season, then they took me off of freshman, so now it was just JV and varsity. About 5 more games into that, then I was strictly varsity. You know, no more JV. So, you know, it by the last like 10 games of the season, you know, in the playoffs, then I was all on varsity.
Okay. So was you a kid that kind of just had it? Was you pretty good from start to finish, or what was that like?
You know what? I don't think so. I think I always had athleticism, and you know, and just, you know, I come from a sports family. My mom was a coach. You know, my mom was a volleyball and track coach.
Right.
Played volleyball in college. My dad played basketball in college. So we, it was seeing her coaching, just seeing the way that, she was into it, and it made me want to play and do what I do in a better way. But it took a lot. Like I starting off, I was just an athlete. Like I needed to build a skill level, and shoot, I would go to my training and do all of that. And man, I looked bad early on, but I kept going. I wasn't the one that just accepted that it was going to be bad. I wanted to get better.
Right. When did colleges start catching notice of you?
So college is probably between my sophomore and junior year. So the end of my sophomore year, they the West Coast schools of Oregon State, Washington, those type of schools. And then had a good summer and came back, and stuff started growing nationally at that point.
Okay. And then senior year, man, what was that like? I know you talked about your freshman through junior year. What did it look like your senior year?
Yeah. So, I had a really good year. As a junior, I was Player of the Year of the state of Oregon. So, nice. So after that junior year, then I got to go and play, on the AAU circuit that summer, and that's when I kind of even blew up a little more, playing on the circuit. Getting out there playing, going to Nike All-American camp. I was actually here in Indianapolis at the Nike All-American camp. Me and your brother was on the same team.
No, really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Man, Al find his way into all my podcasts. I'm trying to find something where he not my podcast, and you ain't helping it. But go ahead, man. I'm listening.
Right. No, I hear you. But so yeah, we did played there. Played that summer. Then went into my senior year.
Okay.
I committed to Oregon early, so I was committed right at the start of the season. As a senior, and just played it out and was ready to go.
Got you. What schools was on your list?
So my last 5 was Oregon, UCLA, USC, Colorado, and Arizona. And I had UConn. But I kind of eliminated them because I was in Oregon and UConn was so far away at the time. I was just like, I couldn't go that far. But mostly like all of the Pac-10 at the time was, kind of where I was choosing from.
Okay. And I think I know this answer, but why Oregon? Hometown boy, huh?
Well, yeah, it was a couple of reasons. Like I had a really good AAU coach, and we kind of did pros and cons of each place.
Right.
UCLA was a school that I was interested in, but at the time, Tayshaun Prince hadn't committed to where he was going to school. It was between UCLA and Kentucky.
Right.
And he's from LA, and so we were kind of saying, okay, well, if he comes to UCLA, not saying that you won't play, but who's going to get the benefit of the doubt, because he's in LA. He was like, if you go to Oregon, then, you have to get the benefit of the doubt, and on all of this. So that was an easy, simple solution to go to Oregon. Plus, Nike is right there. I got to be involved, and we had a plan for that where I was internship at Nike in the summertime, and, created all of that. So it worked out for me.
Okay. So what was it like going to UConn, which is Pac-10, one of the top schools out there, and playing in high school? What was that adjustment like for you?
Difference from college and high school?
Yeah.
It was a huge difference. I remember thinking after my freshman year of college, if I could go back and do my senior year of high school, I think as a senior I averaged 30. I thought I would have averaged 50.
Yeah.
Because you just learn so much, And I think I had really good. Like my high school coach was really good, but you just feel yourself a little more. You're playing against older kids,
Right.
You just learn some new nuances of the game that you didn't know in high school.
Right, for sure. And you played alongside Luke Ridnour, and then it says Luke Jackson. What was that like, man? Both of you guys ended up going to the NBA, but what was it like playing together at Oregon?
Right. Well, we were, we had a good team. So when I committed to Oregon, like I said, Pac-10, so 10 teams. Oregon was like the number 8 team in the conference. When I committed to go there. By the time I left as a senior with Luke Ridnour and Luke Jackson, we won the conference for the first time.
Right.
So that was, playing with those two guys that, I was the 14th pick. The following year, Luke Ridnour was the 14th pick. The following year, Luke Jackson was the 10th pick. So, we had, our backcourt was solid. We could go and compete with anybody.
Right. So, moving on to the NBA, man, what was those workouts like? Did you know that the Pacers were going to pick you up, or, how did you work out for the different teams and stuff like that? What was that experience like?
Oh man, I didn't know nothing. I was strictly just out there trying to go get in front of anybody possible that I could work out in front of.
Right.
The consensus for me was I was, kind of in the range from 20 to 30. So when you're in a 20 to 30 range, that means you can easily fall to the second round,
Right.
non-guaranteed. So I was scheduled to work out for like 21 teams. And I ended up working out for like 15 because I hurt my shoulder, so I had to cancel some workouts. So the Pacers was one of the workouts that I canceled because I was hurt. And I think the draft was in 2 days, and I get a call from my agent saying, "Hey, the Pacers want to bring you in." And I'm like, "Well, I'm hurt. Like, I can't. What am I gonna do?" They were like, "No, they just want to interview you and and talk. Would you?" They want to fly you out there. So I jump on a plane and fly out here, and so we're having a meeting, and they were like, "Okay, well now they had one other player there, Roger Mason."
Okay.
So they were like, "Okay, we about to work out," and then so they looked at me and they was like, "Can you work out?" And I was like, "Man, I know my agent told y'all I wasn't working out, but you asked me, can I work out? Then yeah, I can work out. Like, I'm not gonna tell you no. At that point, I'm looking for a job."
Right.
So I got out there and worked out and showed enough, but still had no clue. On draft day, I'm sitting there. I know that I'm not going one of the top 13 slots, which was lottery at the time. So the 14th pick was the earliest that I even thought I could go in. And then I thought, okay, well, if I know the Pacers are interested, but if I'm projected 20 to 30, they can trade down, they can do whatever, and possibly give me. But man, they come out of a commercial, and David Stern is already at the podium, and they just start showing my videos. I'm like, what? Like I just fall off the couch. It was a crazy scene. Yeah.
That's a blessing, man. This next question, man. I remember in the summers, man, we used to play a lot. And I remember, like, in the summertime guarding you and, when you was in your prime and all that good stuff. It's funny how, like, a lot of people are, like, they look at, you or Al, and maybe they built like y'all, or maybe they, may have a better jump shot or whatever. People think a lot of times that that they can play with pros, or I should have been a pro. What, I'm speaking in terms of you and any other pro player that you've been around, like what separates y'all from everybody that think that they can make it?
It's crazy. I was having this conversation last week with Jared Jack about kind of this same thing.
Jared Jack, do the show. Oh no, my bad. I said that out loud. Go ahead.
I honestly think it's really just mentality.
Okay.
I think it's it's a lot of people out there that have the physical ability,
right?
But then they don't have the mentality or the it's different. how many guys would be the 14th pick,
Right.
and come into a team and play behind a Hall of Famer and be
Right.
okay with, not playing five
Right.
games in a row.
Right.
That's what people don't understand, like the difference that you have to deal with.
Right.
You have to come to practice and just work your tail off, but you may not play in the game.
Mm.
Not everybody is built for that. And so it seems glorious because of they see all of the other stuff, but it's I think NBA players have the almost like the weakest confidence level than
Mm.
anybody, because you can lose your confidence on one shot,
Right.
and feel
Right.
a different way. And so how do you continue to invent yourself, and come
Right.
back from down times and up times, and how to be even keeled? Like,
Right.
I think that's what people don't know about, having to be a pro.
Right, right, for sure. So, man, what was, I mean, you kind of touched on that a little bit, but you came into a pretty well stacked NBA team with Reggie Miller. I want to say Jermaine O'Neal was there at that point. Al was there. Jonathan Bender, Ron Artest. You had some players on the team that have kind of almost pretty much established themselves. What was that like for you? You coming fresh to the block to see these guys, and like you said, you got a Hall of Famer in Reggie Miller. What was that like for you, man? As a rookie stepping in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as a rookie, it was. I think I was just so happy to be there that
Mm.
whatever they asked me to do, I was going to do.
Right.
I was the only rookie my year, so I didn't have that was a little different. I didn't have another rookie to share
Right.
duties or any of that. Uh,
Right.
but I got lucky with the team that I came to now.
Right.
Like I said, I knew your brother because we played in the high school All American together. I knew
Right.
Jermaine O'Neal because he had played in Portland, and I knew his family, Misha. I knew the family at that point.
Right.
I got lucky with everybody told me Reggie Miller hates rookies. I got lucky because we were both from the Pac-10, so he took a
Okay.
liking to me because I played in the Pac-10 and played his
Right.
position. So he helped me out with a lot of things. So I
Right.
think I was lucky with the group of guys that I had.
Right. Elaborate on Reggie Miller. What is he really like? I mean, Reggie was one of them. He was a big star. Reggie kind of was really private, but what was Reggie really like as a basketball player and as a person?
Well, start as a basketball player. The dude was a killer. His the craziest thing, you look at him, you see he's skinny, you see
Right.
how is he getting it done?
Right.
I remember as a rookie, I used to come early before games, and like a couple games he was hurt, so he was trying to work himself back. So we would play 1-on-1. And I'm like, man, I got this. Like he's
Right.
1-on-1, like this is supposed to be easy for me.
Right. Right.
And man, that dude, like I couldn't believe the 1-on-1 skills that he had, because in the game he never had to do it. Like he was always
Right.
just running off screens, or we was creating plays for him to shoot. But you never
Right.
think of him as having to be crafty and to go get a shot, go
Right.
just go get it.
Right.
And I was amazed by what he could do in that scenario.
Right.
But as a person, like he was the biggest superstar in Indiana, but at how he treated us, like he was just one of us. Like he tried
Right.
to be a part of the team.
Right.
I had a nephew at the time. He was good to my nephew, letting him come over his house and do different things. So even today, when we were able to go to games, when he would come to Indiana and do the game, then I take my boys down there, and he always talking to them and
Right.
taking pictures and stuff. So he's always been good to us. Yeah.
Right, right, absolutely, man. So, you got to a certain point, you start playing. What was that? I mean, I remember you kind of had to pay your dues for a little while, and then you start playing a little bit more and more. What was your mindset? I mean, especially we're attracting a lot of the younger viewers, right? And we want to talk about like paying their dues and knowing their roles. What did you do throughout that time, waiting on your opportunity? You know, how did you better yourself? How did you keep your mind sharp? You know what I mean? Knowing that you're doing all you can and you still sitting behind people. How'd you work that?
Yeah. I mean, it was really tough. I think my first year, Isaiah Thomas was the coach, and the good thing about it, he pulled me aside and he was like, "Hey, you can every day in practice, like you can kill Reggie every day, but Reggie Miller's playing, so you just had to figure out in practice how to get better, and just utilize it in practice." Now the second year I come back, we get a new coach, and our new coach is Rick Carlisle.
Right.
And so I go to Rick Carlisle before we start camp and ask him, where does he see me, my role with the team, and he honestly tells me, I don't really see a role for you, like I don't really see it.
Wow.
So I'm like, what? Like, this is my second year. Like, I can't be sitting over here no more.
Right.
So I talked to my agent, asked him, tell him what he said, and I'm like, hold on, like something got to change. Right. And he was like, well, one thing I know about him is that he likes people that defend. And so I go to training camp, and man, I ain't never been so close to Reggie. I ran off every screen. I guarded as hard as I could guard, for that training camp. And this is why I like Rick Carlisle. He come to me after training camp, and he said, "Hey, I didn't know you could do that. You've earned your minutes." So I played consistent minutes the whole season. I could always check myself in the game because I knew when he was going to call for me. And so, that's all you can ask for a coach, to be honest with you. He was honest and said, "I don't think I got a spot," but then, when you prove something to him, then he's right there to say, "Hey, you earned it." So, I was happy about it.
Right, that was that mentality you was talking about. I mean, you know what I mean? You could have gave up. You could have wanted to ask for the trade. You could have did a lot of stuff, but you earned your minutes. You earned your time. You see what I'm saying? So that's definitely huge, man.